Ben Askren, you lose to Jake Paul, I'm slapping you. You better beat this dude. Don't lose to Jake Paul. Go beat this dude, man.
I am so confident in my ability to destroy these guys is because they have no head movement. They're slow. They, aren't going to the gym every day and boxing.
Paul thinks that he's getting ready to display boxing. He's going to find out when that match starts. I'm not in here with a boxer. I am now dealing with a fighter.
What happens when Jake Paul hits Ben Askren in the face and he doesn't knock him out? And it goes past round 1, it goes past round 2, and then he starts to get tired because he's emptied the tank. Yeah. What happens in that 5th, in that 6th?
I'm rooting for Ben Askren because Ben Askren's going out there and representing mixed martial arts against an internet celebrity. Like, Ben Askren has to get this done.
I've been top 10 in the world in 4 different sports. I know what it's like to be world class. I am not going to be a world class boxer, but I don't got to be a world class boxer. I just got to beat up Jake freaking Paul. That ain't going to be that hard, guys.
You're taking a world class athlete in Ben Askren. That would stun me. I mean, competition is just competition. Many people believe that Paul has better hands. They don't know what they're talking about or what they're looking at. But let's say that it was true. That's not what this boxing match is about. It is not the person with the better hands or the better boxing that's going to win the boxing match. It's a competition. Who's going to compete better?
The difference here is that he just hasn't been tested by a real combat athlete. Not to say that Ben Askren is an elite level striker, but he is a combat athlete. So he has been hit.
One of them is focused on boxing. The other is focused on competing.
Boxing's an art. MMA is a brawl. And that is why I'm calling out all these people. And you're going to see, people will see. I say it every single time. I say it in every single interview. I predict when I'm going to knock these people out. I predict what the media is going to say. And people are just going to see one by one. Ben Askren gets knocked out. Dennis gets knocked out. Diaz gets knocked out. It's going to happen. And people will replay this interview and be like, wow, this kid really just predicted all of this.
We can continue to have the false conversation of whose hands are better and give that to Paul. We can continue to have that. But when you lose your money on fight night, it's because you're not understanding.
A lot of things I do, they don't look pretty, but they are really, really damn effective. To all those people who say I stink at boxing, that's fine. Listen, I might not be that good. I'm going to beat up Jake Paul.
It's amazing to me how people speak about Ben Askren and talk about him like some scrub because he lost to Jorge Masvidal in 5 seconds. Like, this guy, one of the toughest, he's Bob Backlund, circa 1983. Like, he is one of the toughest human beings. Doesn't look it, right? Has the dad bod, whatever. This man is squeezing watermelons in his backyard.
So strong, bro. He's so strong. Like, people don't realize, like, until Ben grabs you, how strong he is.
And Ben is going to throw shots, and they are going to be sloppy, and Ben's going to get into a clinch, and he's going to pull on the neck, and the referee's going to have to break it, and then Ben's going to go back and do it again, and Paul's all of a sudden not going to know where he is. He's just going to be too exhausted.
And when it gets tough and there becomes some adversity, I think I'm going to respond really well to it, and I think he's going to respond really poorly, and frankly, I think that's going to be the difference.
Interesting thing about Jake Paul, obviously we see him on Instagram, we see his videos. He's extravagant, he loves money, that's his lifestyle. But is he someone who can walk through the fire when the shit gets tough?
That's what we need to see. There's a couple of things about the fire. How bad is the fire going to be? Well, we've got Ben Askren, who is not as big as Jake. No. Is as openly admitted he doesn't hit hard.
He's not a high-level fighter. He's not going to know some of the nuanced stuff. He's going to have a good, strong 1-2. He's going to move a little bit, and but when it comes down to getting gritty when it gets tough, or some of the more nuanced combinations, or fighting on the inside, those are places where I can obviously excel. Think about the guys I stood across the cage from: Douglas Lima, Andre Krishkov, Robbie Lawler, and they only had 4-ounce gloves on, and they could punch me or elbow me or kick me or knee me. Like, they could do whatever the hell they wanted. And then now I have to box this YouTube star with 10-ounce gloves on. Like, it just is not all that concerning to me.
I'm too sharp right now. And we're 82 days away from the fight. April 17th is in 82 days. And just in practice this morning, I'm too sharp, I'm too fast. We wanted to be nice and say, like, hey, it could go 3 rounds. He has a good chin. I just think by the end of this camp, it'll end up being a 1 to 2 round fight. He's slow, you know, and my speed will immediately show, and he will be getting hit from every single angle, and there's not much he can do. And he has never had a boxing match, so it's different than MMA.
Jake Paul is a little boy. He is some rich celebrity who wants to pretend he is a fighter by fighting guys who are really bad. I mean, Jake, what's that last basketball player's name? Nate Robinson, and the other jabroni he fought. I never watched that fight. I watched it last night. It was really bad. Really, it was not good. It's a fight, and I don't have to be this pretty boxer. I can get in there and pressure him and get dirty with him and fight him hard. And that's kind of like something he probably hasn't felt. That's probably something even the good boxers in his camp don't really know how to give him some of those looks that I'm going to give him.
Guys that are doing shoulder rolls, heavy with the jab, followed by the cross, slip outside, dig to the body, pivot their feet, rinse and repeat. That's beautiful boxing. He's going to find out when that match starts, I'm not in here with a boxer. I am now dealing with a fighter.
I think a lot of people are going to wake up to the reality that Jake is actually taking this so seriously. Jake Paul hits hard. There's a reason why he's knocking out so many sparring partners.
I'm looking forward to seeing the power of Jake Paul land onto someone like Askren and see what that's the fascinating thing.
And it is a tricky one because when you look at Ben, he's not a great boxer. He wasn't known for his boxing, but the advantage that he has over somebody like Jake Paul is, of course, you know, he's a proven veteran of the fight game. You know, he's been in there many times. He has that drive, that determination. He has that fighting spirit. These are things that can't necessarily be learned or taught. But that doesn't mean that Jake Paul doesn't have those things. It doesn't mean he doesn't have them within him to show the world. You know, he just hasn't had the opportunity yet. And of course, Zab Judah, talking there, Zab Judah, fucking great boxer, saying the kid has hands.
And these guys that are coaching him are making him think he's fucking Superman. And so when it gets out there and things aren't going his way a little bit, he's going to panic and he's not going to know how to react.
Paul has, in my estimation, no chance of beating Ben Askren. He would spring himself into legitimacy if he beat Ben Askren.
Fucking, listen, let's be honest. Jake Paul isn't a fucking boxer. I'll bet $1 million
oh, here we
that
go.
he loses this fucking fight.
They know why.
Jake Paul is going to sleep Ben Askren. It might not be a complete flatline,
but he's going to...
Jake Paul's not like he's finishing him. And the idea of a YouTuber beating a UFC fighter is mental. The competition still leaves the question mark, and that's what we're going to get the answer to now, isn't it?